Welcome back to Breakfast Daily on City TV. We are entering our tech segment.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's right.
Oh, I mean tech Sanjin.
Yeah.
Okay. Our tech diva Hannah Kwanzaa is here. Hi, Hannah.
Hello, Kokui.
Always good to have you on set.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Okay. Now, you're talking to us today about clean desk policy. Okay.
What on earth is that?
Yeah. What's a
Yeah,
clean desk
I know.
policy?
Before I begin, there's a photo that like everybody has to see that
Okay.
photo. It's your typical work desk, as you can see, and I mean it's a normal desk until I'm looking at it again and I'm seeing so many loopholes going on there. So when you talk about clean, this is a typical working desk when you visit any company. So the guy will be having his coffee, he'll be having a little Bluetooth speaker on the side. The laptop is opened, you know, papers and everything. This is me some years ago. That's my desk because I have a lot of things I'm doing.
I know.
Okay.
That looks like my desk.
Yes. So when you talk about clean desk policy, it's actually an arm of information security management.
Oh,
Okay.
I see.
It goes beyond just finding a rag to clean your desk and arranging your paper in orders. Because when you speak to the subject of clean desk policy, you're also looking at other effects like threats. You're talking about social engineering, which we may discuss some time to come. So clean desk policy is actually advocating that when there are documents, sensitive documents that you're working with, peripherals like USB, hard drives and everything, at the end of each day or when the worker is not seated, these gadgets, this sensitive information has to be stored away and secured. Because if you are dealing with data, even your personal data, even a business having some data, we're talking about data protection also in here. Because if the person's data is exposed to anybody, it could be anyone, the harm that we could see, the lawsuits that could arise, we may not be able to solve that in a day. So clean desk policy is something new, but not really new, but I'll say in Africa it's something that hasn't been thought of. So you go to your typical company, everybody is working, the accounts guy office, everybody has access to the place, and I could sit in front of somebody's desk,
Yeah.
just I'm coming to have a meeting with you, and the information that I will gather,
Yeah.
if I'm a bad person, there are several places that this information can be sold
Okay.
to whoever wants to handle you. I'll sell it, I get my money, I'm gone. So this is clean desk policy. Aside that, it's also like a requirement in terms of having a business. If you're handling any customer data, it's a requirement that you would have it done in your workplace because it's part of the ISO 2701 that says that it ensures that you have to, it's a must. Once you are gathering customer data, these things has to be employed. And when you look at it, so the rate at which these threats keep coming up is something that we have to discuss and brought into the limelight for everybody to see what they are doing wrong in
What's
the
the
office.
worst case scenario where your desk is not clean, and what's the worst that can happen?
Now, the term clean is not really with dirt or arranging your decks. When you talk to me about your decks being clean, this is what I expect to see. Everything stored away, no paper, no sticking anywhere. It's funny, when I go to companies and I ask, okay, do you have Wi-Fi? I say, yeah, they do. Okay, which Wi-Fi do you have here? Okay, is it the same one every staff is on? They said yes. Okay, how do I sign in? Oh, the password is on the wall.
So it's not
That's
really
like
secure.
opening your door
Okay.
in the middle of the night and going to sleep. It makes the person who's coming to rob you very
The job
happy.
is easy.
Yeah, the job is relatively easy. So I would say in a case like the example I just gave, there has to be, if you want to give your customer, you know, a happy time, like you're having a small business, or when my customers come and they are waiting for their cake or they are waiting for their dress, let them sign up to
Access
some
the
Wi-Fi, yes.
Wi-Fi.
Get that, but have it as a guest Wi-Fi. Don't post the password all around. If they want to direct them to your IT manager or the person in charge, let them get signed in on there. And because there's another trick, because if the person signing in on there, there are ways to get the passwords even when they are changed. So once I get into your system and I hand over my device, Kokwe, I want the access to city Wi-Fi. You give it to me. You only have to enter it once for somebody like me. You can change it 2 million times. I'll stay updated with your new password. So that's what was making me laugh. But at least the normal non-tech person wouldn't come straight into your system.
Okay.
Yes. So that is when you say clean.
It's about protecting sensitive information.
Exactly.
And making sure things like that are secure, not
Yes.
easily accessible.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's a different definition of clean for us.
Yes, exactly. Because when you look at what constitutes, aside the work area posting of papers and everything, all that, we also see like something as an access control. Most businesses have it. For city, you have it. So production room, when you're going there, authentication to enter.
Yeah.
Because they are doing serious business down there. If you see the room, you can tell.
Yes.
So, but most times we have employees keeping their cards not on them, in their bags. And I don't know how wrong that is, but it's super wrong. Because you get the card, I'm already in.
Yeah.
So you're advised to have like your card on your employee. If it's access control stuff, they need to have it on them. And to be conscious that it is on them every single time. Because as quick
that
as a
it's not
bumper.
available to others.
Exactly. Somebody just bumps into you.
They
It's
can
like,
pick
oh, and then by the time you realize that is gone, it's already like 2 hours past, and a whole lot of issues would have happened to you.
Yeah.
And you're also talking about that. You're also looking at securing electronic data. You say clean decks. Hannah, is it just paper? It's not just paper based. We've locked away our papers and everything. But the thing we forget is that in our offices, we set up our machine and we are working. Oh, let me just go to the cafeteria and come. And your office is open because you think you're at work, but you're not.
Wow.
It just takes somebody to get in there, take pictures. Even when you're in front of you and you're having a meeting, some people really have like photographic memory, myself included. We don't need cameras.
Okay.
We will just sit in front of you and we are scanning with our eyes. We will remember it for like 6 hours, everything that we need to get. So you are at the workplace, you're turning, if it's a sensitive document, this is the front, that's the back, you turn it upside down. And try as much as possible to avoid, there's this work desk thing where you write on it. People normally write and scribble stuff on there.
Desks. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. That's a lot of information when you look at it. Because some even have like a carbon feature. So you may think you've tore the paper,
Okay.
crumpled it, disposed it off. Even in the bin, we can revive it. Digitally, if something is in recycle bin, you thought, oh, I've deleted everything. You hand it
restore
over
it.
to me, I'll bring it back for you. I only charge you a small fee. But it's the same with the dustbin. So your cleaner is coming around. The cleaners in our offices, they need to go through this training. If you have a working space, even in your home, people are working from home now. So your cleaner, tell the person not to go to your working area. Some people will still go, but don't make it so obvious for them. So once the person is not seated, they leave everything open. It's not just for like paper-based documents. It's also for electronic device. Your laptop is still open. You're just going here. Oh, I'm just going to the front desk. My office to the front desk, like
back,
2.
no.
I'll be back. I'll be back. No.
Next thing you know.
Then, bam, it's open. So you're locking your desktops or your laptops, any gadget that you're using. The moment it's not in use, please, I beg in the name of God, lock it up. For security-wise, when you look at certain platform operating systems, that one I would agree with the Mac OS people. I know some people now come and say, Hannah, you finally admitted. But when it comes to Android, 1 in 3 devices are not fully secured. So you're looking at somebody just locking the phone and you're having like just a slide up to open or a pattern lock to open.
Yeah.
It's not enough. we see these cases of my WhatsApp has been hacked and everything. People are still using WhatsApp and they've not done two-step factor authentication in Ghana. I don't know. I don't know what you're doing. So some people are also fond of, on their laptop screen, you see sticky notes.
Yeah.
Then they have their username there. They have the password there.
Yeah.
Well, once you are in the laptop, we see these things. So it's advised when you're talking about clean desk policies also to invest in password managers.
Okay.
So your IT manager can look up some that are good for your company and your personal. There are documents that you can lock. There are certain apps you can put a lock on your documents, so at least it is safe.
Yeah.
So these are some of the things that when you talk about clean desk policy, it has to be up here. You have to be conscious. Think of it as the next second you'll be robbed. That's how agile and you should be upfront like
What
that.
about in a workspace where you've got a lot of people using shared computers, shared workspace where, so you've got maybe 10 people who can access and use the same computer and maybe share information or access information. You know, what should people be thinking about with that? I mean, if a lot of people have to use the same machine, maybe you have to keep it pretty open so that all of them can access what they need to access, or...
Yeah. So one of the policies that has to be adopted when you're looking at clean desk policy is creating a list of permitted items to the office.
Okay.
I find it strange, some people's offices, they have like photos of their family, their child is wearing their school uniform, you know, with the school logo, the crest there. So I know where your child schools. That information, if you are like a big personality, I mean, people can make money from there. Just close and go and get their child real quick, ransom. So that is some of the things that shouldn't be allowed. I mean, it's an office space. It's not a family venture. Go there, do your job and come home. So if you want to make your office beautiful, yeah, put flowers, put carvings or something. Don't bring so much of your personal stuff into the workplace. You take somebody's work laptop, you will find you can't differentiate whether it's his personal laptop or it's the office laptop, because there are movies that the person has in a whole folder.
Yeah.
There are certain software that has been downloaded from like crack sites and all that. If you're using a workstation, like Koku is asking, you see like a central office, 20 people are there, do your work and come home. If somebody needs to sign in after you, I always say that if you close each day, try and clear your cache. If you're using the machine with somebody else, because the moment that, because you are using it together, we'll be given the same password. So Koku's shift ends at, let's say, 10 a.m. Hannah takes over, has signed in. Okay, she's done everything, no password and everything. I go to cash. Hey, so Koku visited the site. Okay, so this is her interest. Okay, this is that. Then we read like a whole bunch of information, and then we'll carry it to anywhere that we want to carry it, really. We can blackmail her. We could do so many things to her, and she wouldn't be happy. But the person doing it would.
Be happy.
Yes, exactly.
What about password managers? How useful are those, and are they safe?
When it comes to safety, I'll say, okay, the company that you are dealing or buying these services from, have you tried to vet them out? Have you checked them out? Is it popular? Is it somebody's thing that is? Because on the market, like going to Kaneshi market to buy tomatoes, the good tomatoes are there. The bad ones too are there. It depends on the money you want to use to buy. So you can go to a crack site and get like a password manager. That's like having malaria and trying to sit in a mosquito-prone place. It doesn't solve anything, because where you are getting it from, it's not really authentic. So you can invest in some of these solutions, but most importantly, it needs to come from a verified source. Do your information like check how many companies are using these things, if they have anything to do, because they are not doing you a favor. You are buying some of these things for your personal use. So that comes to answer your question on password managers. They are good, but try and check if it's actually safe before you actually sign on to it. So when you talk about the summary, it's tidy your decks, make sure you put every information away, and then leave. We can now see, after we've done this, some benefits that you stand to gain when you've done these things. First is you stop printing. You go green. Because if I have to send something to Koku, send.
Yeah.
Even in your office, you can develop an instant messaging platform just for, colleagues and everything. You share the information back and forth. So that is going green. You save a lot of printing costs but unfortunately in certain sectors of Ghana, printing is still happening.
Oh,
Yeah.
You have to
a lot.
I don't understand if that changes the content of the document I'm sending, but you have to print, and once you're doing that, it's not. You are incurring a lot of.
Actually, the concept of, let's say, digital signing, because for a lot of people, it's about putting the document out in paper form, so that it can be endorsed and then move to the next level.
Exactly.
But if we get to this place where we can just sign digitally, then we can just move on.
Eliminates a lot.
Yeah. It brings us to the second benefit, which is sensitive information that are kept safe.
Okay.
Because if I'm signing it, even on your own local network that you're using in the office, local area network you're using, it is there. It is known by your own company.
Okay.
It's not going outside. Of course, when you're setting up these things, you would have ensured all the security measures have been put in place. So information is not on the loose, it's running around. Password is not on the wall for people to just sign in and everything. Then the third benefit is you are in compliance. If you set up these things in your business or even in your personal life, you are sure that you are complying with certain data protection laws, because people in Ghana, you're not supposed to actually store people's data outside the country. So you're supposed to find a local hosting company to have your data and everything stored here as a business. So these are some of the benefits that could be accrued to you.
Thank you, Hannah.
And then to add, you work more in terms of productivity, because averagely a person spends 4.3 hours a week looking for a paper, like a document.
Wow.
So today you search for something in an hour, then you leave it.
Okay.
Then tomorrow, because your desk is that way,
Yeah.
it's not organized.
Yeah.
You are searching for something else, and you are being
A
slow.
lot of time wasted in just the search.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas it was in a company folder and you have access. You remember the file name? Yes, you do. You just hit a search button and then you search. You'll be able to. So your productivity level also goes up,
Increases.
and then you're able to quickly find things. The dangers for not doing these things is, one, you're going to spend more money, of course, in incurring some of these things. And if your sensitive data is all in the air, everybody can catch it, like a viral disease. Everybody can catch it. The moment they do, people are trading data on the deep dark web, so
Crazy.
and they are selling it for an arm and a leg.
Nice money.
They won't. No, they don't have time. They will send somebody else to do that.
How do people get in touch with you? I'm sure people are listening and wondering,
What is it?
where did all this come from? They
It's
need
around.
help. Yeah.
I mean, you could search for me on Instagram at AmaBlueQ, and you could equally tweet at me, and we'll talk about this further.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing. All right.